Yo, what's good, y'all? It's Prodigy in the bitch. Today we're back again on another video. This is gonna be me giving his top 5 John Cena match. Since it was his last year, this year, I figured I would give my top 5 matches and just explain why. So this shouldn't be longer than about a 10 to 15 minute video. But anyway, starting at number 5. I'm gonna say that the John Cena and the versus Sami Zayn on SmackDown, the one where he was his last SmackDown, I think that was in Chicago. I'm putting that at number 5. Now the reason why is because I think that was like the second match, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the second match he had since turning babyface. Because, you know, the first one was obviously the SummerSlam match with Cody. That was the first match he had as a babyface. So I would probably put that Sammy match as his number 5 for me. And an honorable mention is going to go to the Randy Orton match at Backlash, because that was really fun. And where they honestly pretty much brought the fun back to John Cena starting with that match, because, you know, the one at WrestleMania 41 was it was like too slow and methodical, which is a heel, but like it was too slow and methodical. And so it just made for just something that just wasn't, you know, as entertaining and whatnot. And it just like made the match just ultimately boring and just too slow. You know, you can kind of work. I feel like there's ways as a heel where you can be aggressive and exciting so that the crowd is, because at the end of the day, like, you got to work slower, but like you don't want the crowd to start getting bored. Like, you don't want people to start going, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want people to start just yawning. And I felt that's kind of what was happening during the match he had with Cody at WrestleMania. So, honorable mention will go to the Randy Orton match, because that one actually was pretty fun. But I'm going to go to the Sami match on SmackDown. So, that was the last match he had on SmackDown with Sami Zayn. And obviously, the story was there with him giving Sami an opportunity for the U.S. Challenge. Well, he was doing the U.S. Open Challenge. Sami was one of the first people he gave a shot during the U.S. Open Challenge. And so for Sami to return the favor, being a great U.S. champ that he was, defending it every week, doing the U.S. Open Challenge, taking Cena up on it like, hey, man, you know, I'll return you that favor. 10 years ago, you know, you did this with me. 10 years later, let's, like, you know, roles have reversed. Let's do this thing. And it was great, man. Obviously, it was a fun match that had the crowd up. I mean, it was a Chicago crowd, so it's, like, perfect as far as the wrestling crowd's concerned. But they were doing their thing. They were killing it. I think that was the one where even he paid homage to Edge, where he delivered the spear. So he was doing that. And it was just really fun, man. A really fun TV match that, yes, did get interrupted by Brock Lesnar and that terrible WrestlePalooza match. But still was a great match, and I would put that at number 5 in the best matches that he had. It was just a really fun match. It was a clear story there of him kind of returning the favor. And, you know, shout out to Sami doing the U.S. Open Challenges, man. I think he wrestled the likes of, obviously, Carmelo Hayes and Rey Fenix and Javon Evans, and obviously he lost it to Ilya, but I think who else did he wrestle? He wrestled, I think, Shinsuke. And yeah, anyway, it was for a title reign that I think somebody said was only like 57 or 58 days. Bro, that goes to show you, when you defend a title every week, your title reign seems long. Like, when you have a plethora of successful title defenses every week, it makes the title reign actually feel long, because Sami's title reign actually felt, it was like it was 50-something days, but it felt like 100 because he was defending it every week. So that's what made it feel like 100. But I just thought that was a really fun match. It was, to me, one of the matches that Cena had the most life to him, because he was, like I said, newly a babyface again. So he had a lot of life to him in the match, and it made the match very fun and very exciting. So I'm going to put that at number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go the Punk match in Saudi Arabia, Night of Champions. Man, the crowd was the greatest build that Cena had in all his matches. That easily was the greatest build he had in all of the matches he wrestled. That one obviously had the best build. Is the one he had with CM Punk, from Cena doing the Pipe Bomb 2.0 to Punk taking a page out of his book and being Thugonomics, Punkonomics. You know what I'm saying? That's just great build. And of course, I feel it should have happened at a Money in the Bank, because it just would have fit more of them because of the whole lore behind that and their history. But it happened in, Night of Champions, is what it is. But still was a really good match. They were doing their regular stuff. And this was all before the run-ins, too, with Seth and the Vision. Even before the run-ins, the match was actually just going really well. Like, they were, Cena, we know, is gonna be the man of 1,000 AAs nowadays. But he was hitting that. The crowd was super invested. Before they even locked up, the crowd was just super invested. That's the one thing about this crazy that we're going to have a Royal Rumble in Saudi. I'm still not wrapping my head around the fact that the Royal Rumble this next year is going to be in Saudi. But anyway, you could tell that crowd, when they really care about a match, they're really up. But when they don't care about a match, they're really down. Like, that's the Saudi crowd. They're either really up for a match or they're really down. It's not really much you see. You don't really see much of them, like, in between. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't really happen. They either really into it or they just think this fucking sucks. But anyway, well, that was kind of scary. I ain't gonna lie. That's how good this mic pick up audio. But anyway, it was just me hitting my foot on the little pole thing down here. But anyway, yeah, the Punk match had a great atmosphere. The crowd was losing their shiots for that match, and it was just great, man. They, like I said, they did good wrestling. They did even the scene of, where he kind of teased if he was going to turn face by kind of contemplating whether he was going to hit Punk with the title, and then he decided to kind of try to win it the honorable way by throwing the title away. And then was actually, to me personally, I thought it was actually a fun overbooked finish where John Cena delivered an AA to Bronson Reed, showing his Super Cena strength, picking up a guy like Bronson Reed once again, and just a exciting ending. And I think Seth, came in there, and I think he delivered a stomp or something to Punk, and Cena threw him out the ring, and I think that's how he either hit him with an AA or he just capitalized on it. 1, 2, 3, and also before that, when Cena freaking good old little Nate, Rudy Charles, if you will, was running down to the ring, and Cena just freaking football linebacker ran him over, shoulder tackle. It was just great. I'm remembering all types of stuff from that match, and I didn't even watch none of this stuff back yet, and I'm already thinking of these bright and great memories. But kudos to what CM Punk and John Cena did. So that was my 4th favorite match of the Cena. Not only because it was the greatest build he had in his whole retirement run that he was going on, I felt that match had the best build, and it made for a really good match, man, and a great moment, even with the overbooked finish. But you kind of have to do that a little bit of the, as they say, the smoke and mirrors when the guys are older and can't go as well in the ring. You do have to kind of add a little bit of those elements and magic tricks to make up for that, for whatever they don't, have anymore in the ring athletically and whatnot. 3rd match, and even if you don't like the guy, you gotta admit it was a really good match, and I'm gonna go John Cena versus Logan Paul as my number 3 spot. I actually like Logan. I know some people, you motherfucker, you're a scammer, you fucking motherfucker. But I actually like Logan. And I've managed to look past his faults in real life, but because I believe in everybody being able to learn and grow and all that stuff. So anyway, beside all that, Logan's good in the ring. Obviously, he needs more polishing as far as like just teaching him how to do matches consistently. As far as like, okay, when you're in these house shows, or if he does house shows, if he's going to be doing like house shows and being up and down the road, he obviously just needs that experience so that he doesn't have to really have. I'm not saying he has a lot of preparation, but you teach him how to have great matches where you have very little time to prepare. Like, that's all he really needs to learn at this point, but he does everything else really freaking well. And it was fun watching a match, man. You saw, Logan Paul pull out some nice stuff. And the biggest thing that really took away from the Clash in Paris match was not only how the crowd was booing the fuck out of Logan and cheering the hell out of John Cena, singing his theme song and everything. That was great. But it was just really a fun match. Logan obviously got to do his stuff, right? The frog splashes and the buckshot lariats of the world and the swanton bombs and all the types of, he got to kind of pretty much, well, not swan, I don't know if he delivered that move, but he got to do a lot of, the fact of the matter is he got to do a lot of his stuff. And even Logan pulled out some extra moves from some other guys. He did a pop-up uppercut from Cesaro. He did a zigzag. And then shout out to John Cena, he whipped out a freaking in that match he hit an End of Days, which if y'all remember, he actually did wrestle. I forgot he wrestled Baron Corbin. So that was a little sub, a little how you doing over to Baron Corbin. and he also delivered a Styles Clash in that match, and that was really a way to say fuck you for not making AJ wrestle in Clash in Paris. But anyway, he hit that, and it was just great, man. It was great seeing him pull out those moves because it was very unexpected. That was the biggest thing. It was very unexpected. And also, that was also the match where I think he delivered, like, he started bringing out 2015 Cena in that match because I think he did like a sunset flip power bomb. That was one of his newer moves in his arsenal in that 2015-16 time span. And he also did the Cena Carano. We hadn't seen that in a minute where he does like a Hurricanrana, but because it's Cena's big self doing it, it just always looks funny. And so yeah, they were kind of like just doing. He was kind of bringing out some of his rivals that were in, funny enough, that 2015, 16, and even 17 time period, doing some of his rivals' moves, like I said, Dolph Ziggler's of the world. Well, he didn't hit Dolph Ziggler's move, but he got hit with it. But like I said, the End of Days and the Styles Clash, hitting that, and then, like I said, hitting some of the newer moves in his arsenal. I think he even did one where he delivered like a double underhook where he like raises him up and then like drops him on his face. Like, I'm remembering all types of moves he delivered in his match. Like, this is when he was kind of going back into, like I said, his 2015, 16, 17 days where he was like whipping out new moves. More 2015, 16, where he was whipping out new moves and stuff like that. So it was dope seeing him bring that version of him back. And it just let me know that, because people were like, oh, Cena, maybe he just can't do that stuff anymore. I always knew he could still do it, because I was like, man, when you look at it, it would have been crazy if we saw that springboard stunner again. That would have been crazy. But I was one of those people that kind of felt like, he didn't really, there's not really moves in his arsenal that he just couldn't do anymore. As far as, when you think about it, he's not delivering any moves that's like crazy difficult. Like, especially considering he has this muscle and all that still. I was like, nah, there's gotta be moves. He's gotta still be able to do these moves, because when you look back at some of the moves he was doing when he was like adding new stuff in his arsenal, they weren't moves that would be like hard for him to do now. So I knew it wasn't a situation where that was, I knew that he was really reserving that shit because he was a babyface. Or was a heel, so he couldn't do the extra moves and stuff like that. But anyway, really fun match. Obviously, he got the win over Logan Paul, and it was just a really fun match. I think I gave it like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. So it was really fun, and Logan is a good dance partner and all that. And if Cena's giving him high praise, then there's something to this Logan Paul kid. Even if you hate his freaking guts, you just hate him. But anyway, second favorite match for me, or to me, his second best match, was indeed the SummerSlam match with Cody. And honestly, it would have been the first if it were not for what I'm gonna put at number one. No Caparoni. Really fun match, and it greatly made up for the plunder that they had at WrestleMania 41. That I love John Cena, so I tried to kind of, in the live stream, if you would watch it back where I live streamed it, I almost like tried to justify. I mean, it's still good seeing him win 17-time world champion, but I was almost kind of trying to justify that finish. But then as time kind of marinated a little bit, I was like, nah, that was just a terrible finish. Because I tried to make it like, well, maybe the point of it was supposed to be kind of dry because a heel is winning, so why would you want to make it a cool finish? But tried to justify it in my head at the time, but it just was not good in hindsight at all. But anyway, they greatly made up for it, even though they kind of turned him face out of nowhere. Like, there was no clear build up or anything. It's just Cody put him through a table, and then he was like, you know what? That's what I needed to be a good guy again. But anyway, still, it was a great match. We got to see Cena go through tables, and I think he got suplex on the railing, and like they got to fight outside. And Cena had that aura moment where he got raised from the bottom, like how Cody does his entrance where he gets raised from the bottom. And he had Cody up for that attitude adjustment, had that freaking smirk on his face. It was just great, bro. It was freaking great. And it was just dope to see, man. It was cool. And he delivered like 10 or 11 attitude adjustments were in that match. And Cody, same thing. He delivered like almost 10 crossroads in that match. And so, yeah, they were super Cody and super Cena. It was dope seeing them in their Super Saiyan version of themselves be in this match, because they were kicking out of everything, but the match was so fun, bro. From, like I said, going through the tables and and fighting on the outside and even fighting backstage. Like, it was just dope. Like in the Gorilla, actually more Gorilla than backstage. But it was just dope seeing them fight everywhere. And, you know, Cody did end up obviously getting the title back, which I figured. I didn't think he would win King of the Ring and all that just for him to not get the belt back, because they always wanted to have Cena put Cody over as the new face of the generation, you know, passing the torch from the previous top babyface. So it made sense that he got the win. But it was dope. Even though, yes, he got F5 by Brock after, and, you know, we don't have to talk about that part, especially knowing what it led to. We don't got to talk about that part. But anyway, it's still a moment, you know, seeing Brock return. But mainly, the match bell to bell was just great, and it was crazy just seeing the Super Saiyan version of themselves. And obviously, Cena bringing the color back, right? Because he had the generic entrance with the Blacktron and just the white name of white font, or, well, white text and font of just John Cena on the screen, and then it went, you know, back to the colorful. And I actually liked that they made that part of his entrance after that. Like, they made it that he had the generic black background with just John Cena written on there, and then it when the beat would drop the theme song, it would explode into the colors. I like that they actually kept that a part of his entrance. I thought that was really cool. And I know you're probably thinking to yourself as I say that, like I said, great SummerSlam match. I even rated that like a 5 out of 5, like 10 out of 10 type match right there. They did fantastic, and they greatly made up for the WrestleMania match. Now, you're probably thinking, well, if you saw my previous videos, you're probably not going to be shocked that John Cena versus Gunther indeed was not in my top 5. Some people probably would put it there. I wouldn't even be mad at you. I know some people probably would put it at number 4 or 5 for that spot. Because I kind of base matches off what I watch it back. All these matches I would watch back. Like, I would watch these matches back, see how fun it was and all that good stuff. And to me, John Cena had a great match with CM Punk, as far as like, that was to me the only match he had as a heel that was like a great match. Like, don't get me wrong, Randy Orton match was really fun too. But to me, the only like just great match he had as a heel to me was the CM Punk match. That was the only time he had like a great match. All the other ones were like, they were either solid or they just didn't hit that next level. I think Punk and Orton were the only two that really gave him great matches as a heel. And then when you think all his other great matches, they were when he like turned back babyface. Which leads to my number 1 spot. Like I said, hated that finish with, like, great for Gunther with the heel heat. I just couldn't get behind the goddamn tapping out, man. I don't care how many theatrical cinematic references and movie references that Cena himself and his other fans or self-proclaimed fans try to make out of it. It's a shitty finish. I'm going, fuck, nigga. Anyway, last match I'm putting on the list. The number 1 match is obviously going to go to Crown Jewel 2025. John Cena versus AJ Styles. And the crazy thing is, the match that AJ Styles had with him at SummerSlam in 2016, the one where Cena became, funny enough, the record-tying 16-time world champion at the Royal Rumble 2017 match that they had where they kept it in the ring. Like, the entire match was kept in the ring. And then the match, like I said, they had at Crown Jewel 2025, which somebody said I think they did it again. They, like, kept the whole match in the ring, like, never went to the floor. That's crazy. Go show you testament how great those guys both are as wrestlers. And that was easily a 5-star, 10 out of 10 match. It's not only because it was a love letter to wrestling, but they did it the best way possible. Like, AJ Styles is going to, funny enough, retire next year. And he's a legend. And funny enough, it was almost 10 years to the day that they started feuding. You know, if John would have retired in 26, funny enough, it would have been 10 years ago since they feuded. But, it was not just a love letter to wrestling. I think they did it better than anyone ever could. Like, you know, we've seen this attempted before, whether it be like Edge versus Randy Orton, where they have the legendary status, but I think they had a match in the pandemic at Backlash. They called it like they for whatever reason marketed it as like the greatest wrestling match ever. And it just never was going to be that. But if you had to market something as the greatest wrestling match ever, it probably would have lived up to it if it was this John Cena AJ Styles match. Because it was not only a love letter wrestling, but I think they did it better than you could ever do a love letter wrestling. Because it had the legends that were, even though it had no build other than just Cena saying, hey, let's have a match, AJ, on Twitter. And Triple H saying, you want it, you got it, you know. That was the build. But anyway, even though it had no TV build, the match was fantastic. The guys almost seemed like they didn't lose a step. Performed great in the ring. And then obviously you have the obvious, right? AJ paying homage to his TNA rivals, doing the it's like a reverse tombstone type thing. I think it's called Fade to Black. It's a reverse tombstone type move that AJ did in the match to John Cena. He did, I think it was called Angel's Wings, where he kind of does a pedigree type thing and drops the guy on his face. That was another guy he faced in TNA, doing Samoa Joe's Coquina Clutch in that match. And then John hitting, I mean, he was hitting everybody's shit. I think John Cena, I think he hit a RKO. I think did he do an ankle slam or was it an ankle lock? I think he did something that had something to do with Kurt Angle. And then he obviously hit, I'm trying to think of all this stuff before I get to the obvious shit. Damn, because I remember all. Oh yeah, he delivered a choke slam. He delivered a choke slam and a tombstone to AJ Styles. He delivered a free. Oh yeah, and also AJ Styles delivered a sweet chin music to John Cena. Cena was gonna do a 619, but I knew he wasn't gonna go for that move. I knew he was gonna get stopped by AJ. Oh man, I knew AJ was gonna stop. I knew Cena wasn't gonna hit no 619, but he went for it. But then we have the infamous, the biggest move. I mean, I think he might have do Rusev's move too. I don't know if he did a camel clutch in that or the accolade. I think he might have did that in the match. I mean, it's hard to remember every single move that he did, but it was obviously paying tribute to like a lot of opponents and rivalries he had over here. Because he also did the Walls of Jericho, where he does like, you know, the typical Walls of Jericho, you know, where it's the Boston Crab and like the knee across the neck and everything, like ooh-wee. Or Lion Tamer, I think it was, something like that. It was, but yeah, he just paid tribute to plenty of past rivals and opponents he had over the years. And obviously the most infamous one was the Bray Wyatt one, man. That definitely hit us all in the feels and gave us the chills. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but when he kissed AJ on the forehead, obviously, and did the Sister Abigail that Bray Wyatt does. Rest in peace to Bray Wyatt. It just was great, man. Like, and the match I think ended with, did he deliver a tombstone and then an attitude adjustment? That was the ending, like a tombstone followed right by an attitude adjustment. So yeah, I mean AJ obviously did his stuff too, right? The Phenomenal Forearm. I think he might have hit in the match. I know he did his Springboard 450, which looked nasty. That one was nasty. I think he did his Styles Clash and all that too, I think. So yeah, they just did all their signature stuff. Cena, you know, he might have done the STF, I think. But obviously he hit his attitude adjustment a plethora of times, including one off the top, I think. Second rope, I think. But eventually got the win where he delivered the tombstone followed by the attitude adjustment. And oh yes, Sting, I forgot AJ Styles also paid tribute to Sting where he did the reverse DDT thing. It was a lot. As you can see, it was a lot of tributes. And, of course, there's going to be those weird fans that go, oh, why were they just doing everybody else's moves, like, to carry the match or whatever? But, you know, those jack-offs clearly don't understand wrestling. They just delivered everyone else's moves. Shut your bitch ass up, nigga. Anyway, it was a great love letter to wrestling, and it only works because these guys not only have history, and 3 out of the 5 matches they had were freaking 5-star matches, but it's also because they have the legendary status. They're both highly respected as wrestling legends, especially Cena, obviously. They're highly respected as wrestling legends. So because there were 2 legends, the match went well. They did their signature stuff, followed by some of their rivals in the past, their signature stuff. It just all made sense, you know, and it worked well in the match. And shout out to Australia for reacting as well as they did. Give them their credit too. So it was just great. They just did great stuff. And if you knew about all of Cena's rivals, this match really hit you in the feels. Like, I knew about every person that was getting a tribute. So that's why it was like, you know, being that a little more of a hardcore wrestling fan, you knew like what every tribute was. You know what I'm saying? So it was not a single one, like, as I was watching the match live, that I missed. And crazy to think that wasn't the main event. That was in the middle of the show. And you knew it wasn't going to be a match that was going to top it. But anyway, I mean, Cena got the win there, which I felt he should have. But even if AJ would have won, I think we still would have appreciated the same. But it's just crazy to think that was like the middle match. That was the match that was in the middle. And for when I name my favorite PLEs, that actually would have to go in my top 5 as well as the Crown Jewel match. Because there was only like one match that didn't really Now, well, I wouldn't say deliver, but it was no bad matches for sure. One that you kind of didn't care for as much because of how great other matches were, but every match on that card pretty much delivered. So, but anyway, just a good show. Roman versus Bronson was good. Tiffany versus Stephanie was a pretty solid match. Kabuki Warriors versus Rhea and Io was a pretty good match. Obviously, like I said, John Cena, AJ Styles, and then really good match with Seth and Cody, man. So it was just a full on, pretty good to great show, man, for sure. One of the 2 or 3 PLEs I felt WWE actually did well for like the full card. So yeah, really good stuff. But great match, John Cena versus AJ Styles, and it's no shocker. I've always said in recent time that AJ Styles has given John Cena the best series of matches in his career. Like, I don't think, like, for example, the 2 matches that he had with, or maybe you can say 2 or 3 matches that John Cena had with Punk, that being the Money in the Bank 2011 match and the Monday Night Raw match they had in 2013, were like the great matches they had. But I felt AJ did it more consistently as far as just the match alone. Storylines were obviously to people like, they were better than the AJ Styles stuff. But AJ, from a match standpoint, continued to prove why he's a in-ring, GOAT in general, but especially a in-ring performer, legend in AJ Styles, because he gave Cena all, like I said, 3 out of 5 of their matches were like, I mean, the other ones were like solid and good, but 3 out of 5 of them were just great. So that's a great freaking batting average. But anyway, AJ, I always said, felt in terms of a series of matches, I think he had no better series of matches than what AJ Styles from like a quality in-ring match standpoint. Just freaking great work, man. Chef's kiss, if you will. Bon appetit, baby. You know what I'm saying? When they turned Cena heel, or turned Cena back to babyface, we got a lot of great matches. Yeah, like the match with Dom was fun. Better one at probably Survivor Series because it was more traditional of a match. But yeah, that Gunther match was not touching my top 5 game. Anyway, even though I actually thought it was pretty good. Anyway, love and appreciate you guys, man. You let me know what your favorite John Cena match was. I'm gonna be posting these videos pretty early because since there's gonna be a plethora of them coming out, it's gonna be a triple upload. So I'm gonna try to get these videos out pretty goddamn quickly. But like, comment, subscribe. Love and appreciate you guys. And then we're gonna say it is what it is. It wasn't gonna be is this Prodigy continue to come out with the content videos, the banks over and over again for you guys. Do my thing and doing it well, and I shall see y'all in the next video, man. Enjoy your last day of this year and just continue to put in that work, grind, time, and effort like we will do on the channel to make your life better in 2026. Love and appreciate you guys. See you in the next one. That's the Vitae DJ song. Y'all like it? See you in the next one, man.